Hey, my sweet babies. Thank you for tuning into another episode of What Else is Going On podcast, aka We Go podcast. I'm your host, your girl, Taria. So, we're going to get into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is actually a podcast episode. If you are subscribed to the channel, great, thank you so much. If you just watch the videos, thank you so much again. If you like the videos, thank you so much again. I would ask that you subscribe and share. Sorry y'all, if you want to be able to listen to the audio version, I do post uh they get uploaded to wherever it is you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that other stuff. So just type in What Else is Going On podcast and you will see me. Let's get into episode 12, Land of the Free, Home of the Shade, honey. First up, so we get the little interstitials. I always ask, is that what they're called? The ladies are in Augusta. I said, girl, when the episode opened, I thought I had clicked on the wrong episode. I said, we're still in Augusta. Child, thought we left last week. We're still in Augusta. The ladies are packing. We see Erica. She's getting furniture, her outside furniture delivered. Dorit and Bose are on FaceTime. Dorit is telling Bose about her 4th of July party. We're back at Sutton's home in Augusta, Georgia. Kyle and Garcelle, both BOTH, both the ladies are asking Sutton about her convo with her mom. They admitted, hey, we were eavesdropping. How'd it go? Reba happened to be coming in the house so she could hear them. And they talked about it. Then they see Reba. All of them talked about it. Kyle and Garcelle, saying that for a reason. I'm sure y'all know why. They come in. They realize Reba's there. They say, oh, and Reba tells Garcelle, you seem chatty. Kyle and Garcelle asked Reba, was she going to miss them? And Reba says, I'm sure some of you, no, I think Kyle or one of them said, I'm sure you'll be glad when we're gone. And Reba says, I'll be glad when some of you all are gone. Kyle says she isn't ready to go home because her home is lonely. She says this in her confessional. Sutton tells Reba that she loved their talk, and at least once a year, she's got to tell Sutton that she loves her. Reba said, so when is that going to be? And Sutton said, at Christmas. Reba said, I don't remember my mom saying that to me. And Sutton says, well, I love you. And then Reba says, I love you, Sutton. And then all the ladies circle and hug Sutton, and it made Reba. They all like circled around Reba. And it was really nice. And Garcelle was like, that's what we've been wanting. So it was a nice moment. I can say, regardless of my feelings for Sutton, because I do not see it for her, have never seen it for her, will never see it for her, probably. I'll take that last part out because who knows, right? So I won't say will not see it for her. But I am glad that she got that moment. Just like Garcelle said, those 3 little words, I love you. Sometimes people really need to hear that, in a lot of, I'll speak for, we're not all a monolith. And of course, it's not 100%, but I will say in a lot of Black families, it's not like a whole lot of moms running around saying, I love you. And I know when my kids were growing up, I made it a choice. I mean, not a choice, but me and my husband made it like, we will be saying, I love you to our kids. And now they say it all the time, child. They say it when they hang up. And I love it. Even when they get into an argument with each other, and they leave the house, they may be mad, but they're like, love you. And like, so we've made it, we want that to be natural to them. We didn't want that to be foreign. Even, listen, we knew our parents loved us, right? But our parents could only work with the tools that they had. So my mom told me, I love you because these lights come on when you flip them on, you got food. Anything, and it's true. Anything I wanted to do growing up in the house, she made sure I did it. Anything I wanted, not just needed, she made sure I had it. But they weren't just throwing out I love yous, So I'm so glad that Sutton was able to get that from her mom. All right, next up, we're at Bose's house, and her cousin Tina comes. She said Tina, in some ways, is closer to her than her sisters are. They're only 10 months apart. So they go outside, and Bose is talking to Tina about her desire to have a baby. She says she hasn't met with a fertility doctor yet, but because I believe the doctor is in, did they say Los Angeles or Vegas? I think Vegas. But the doctor's going to fly in and give her an ultrasound and get some samples from Keely. Is she going to get to help him to give the sample? Anyway, okay. To give the samples. It's so funny. I know somebody. And when I say that, you know how people say I'm asking for a friend and it's really them. this is truly not about me and Corey, but I do know somebody who they went to have a vasectomy and they never went back to see if it was effective. But I'm guessing it was effective because they have a grandchild now. But they said they didn't go back because they had to give a sample and they didn't go back and do that. I'm like, what if it wasn't effective and you didn't find out until just go back and give them the sample? But anyway, so they're going to need some samples from Keely. Bose says, I don't know if we're both on this journey, on this ride, and one of us is afraid to stop. So basically, we started talking about this. It's full steam ahead. Are we both now just going along because we both said this is what we want? But I'm afraid if I say it, that'll hurt his feelings and he feels the same. Child, if you asking that question, you're talking about bringing in a life. That's risking your health, baby's health, like you need to be certain about that being what you want. So Tina asked her if she's reconsidering, and she's saying it's scary. So she was pregnant before Lael. Her name was, I think her daughter's name was Eva. She had got pregnant unexpectedly. When she was 5 months into her pregnancy, she discovered she had early stages of preeclampsia, which is a disease that creates high blood pressure and basically attacks your fetus, I believe she said. At 6.5 months, she was rushed to the hospital, taken into surgery, and unfortunately, her baby didn't survive. And I was heartbroken for her to hear that. She said 2 months after she lost Eve, she decided she was meant to be a mother and she wanted to have another baby. She got pregnant with Liel, and she said that pregnancy was horrific because every doctor's appointment was terrifying. And I can imagine you've already suffered that. And especially if it just came out of nowhere, like you're pregnant, you're 5 months going along, and then that happens. So now you're pregnant again. You're trying to take every precaution, even though you may have been taking every precaution, the first pregnancy. So, now she's 15 years removed from that, thinking about having another child. So she needs some reassurances. My thing was she's going through all of this, getting ready to get checkups, and Keely giving specimens and samples and not specimens, samples and all of that. And y'all haven't said I love you to each other. To some, that may not be a thing, but let's go back to what Garcelle said. Sometimes you need to hear those words. I'm thinking about having your baby, and y'all still are y'all gonna live together? How do you want to raise the like? He lives out of town. How often will the child see his father? You know what I mean? Just like different things like that. So Tina says, for y'all to be on this journey, that means both of y'all have to be willing to say yes to whatever would come. And I was like, when I thought about that, because again, she's afraid, I went through the loss of a child once. Then I had my child, and I don't want that to happen again. And her cousin is like, if you're saying yes, you're saying yes to whatever will come, meaning you're going to have to go through with whatever that comes with. I was like, wow. So we're at Sutton's house. She's getting ready for Dorit's 4th of July barbecue party. Her makeup artists are telling her, oh, it's going to be nice and relaxing. And Sutton says, we're playing nice for the 4th of July. Let's do it for our country. Erica then is on FaceTime with Kyle, and Kyle is not really wanting to go. Her and Dorit are in a better place, but still not where they were. And then she knows that Bose has told Kathy, her sister, that Kyle was cold. Now, I did not do a recap that week. I'm going to say this. Although I was like, there's two parts of me, right? Like, Bose, I don't mind that you said it to her sister. At least you said it to her sister, even though you could have said it to Kyle, but I don't mind it. At the same time, be prepared for whatever response you get. Because if you had said that to my sister, who knows what my response would be, right? So yeah, it's cool. You said it, but be prepared for whatever response Kyle may give you back. She may be pissed off. I know if it was me, I would be too. Like, yo, you gonna ask my sister? So, two sides to it. You can say it. You don't know the response you're gonna get. Sutton arrives at Dorit's with flowers. Child, a Southern Belle doesn't look like she's full of Southern comfort right now. She looks miserable, like she don't want to be there. Uh, no one is there to greet her because Dorit had went upstairs. So in her confessional, she said it boggles her mind that no one is there to greet her, not even a roach. Dorit is upstairs looking for a body chain. She says, I don't want to leave people downstairs. So Sutton is downstairs sitting down with them big old red sneakers, and it's at 122, then it's 130, then it's 131, then it's 135, then it's 139. I was like, okay. Now we had 17 minutes, and who knows how long she was there even before that. So she said, this is why I like to be late. Kyle finally arrived. Kyle is the next person to arrive. And Sutton like waves her in. Sutton is just so awkward to me, y'all. It's like everything is so heightened. If it bothers her, or she's offended by something, or it's everybody has to feel Sutton's emotions. That's how I feel. Whenever she has an emotion, everybody's going to tell. I know a person like that in real life, and it's like, it works my nerves. Anyway, so when Kyle comes in, they show pictures of Dorit and PK on a round table, and Kyle is like, I have pictures of me and Mo, but not like at my front door when you first walk in. It's like a shrine. Dorit is still upstairs trying on chains. So she finally comes down and gives Kyle a hug. She gives Kyle a hug, and Kyle stops her and brings up the photos. So they start talking about the photos. And Kyle says it looks like a shrine. And Dorit says, I haven't really had time to touch anything. She hadn't. So when she hugged Kyle and Kyle kind of stopped her and brought up the pictures, they start looking and talking at the pictures. I don't think that she was ignoring Sutton in any way. I believe she got caught up because I've done that before, gone into somebody's home, greeted whomever, and other people are waiting for me to greet them, but we may get caught up in a conversation. I truly, in this case, I believe that. So then Sutton's basically like, I might as well not even be here. I'm so glad I came. Dorit's mom comes and gives Sutton a hug, tells her she's beautiful, and then Sutton gives her a hug. Now, here's where I thought things were going to take a better turn. They were going to be able to joke their way out of this awkwardness, right? So, and I know Sutton was irritated for waiting that long. I probably would be irritated too, because she made a comment about looking at the map on her phone or something. So they talk about Sutton's bag. Kyle has a red Birkin. Sutton has a little blue one that was really cute. And so she takes Sutton's bag and goes, that's so kind of you. And I thought that was a cute, funny moment. Like they were going to have a little funny moment. I think you owe it to me. Sutton says, I do not. Dorit says, you most certainly do. Sutton says, no, we're good. Dorit says, we're not. And Sutton is laughing awkwardly. Kyle's kind of like, this is awkward. Again, I thought it could have turned into a really cute girl. If you don't give me my bag, fine. Is that what it's going to cost me? Or if I give you that bag, are you going to stop coming from my throat every time I see you? I just thought it was going to be a little banter, and it was not. So they all go outside to where the party is, y'all. Garcelle comes in strutting. Naomi Campbell, walk. Naomi Campbell, walk. Garcelle Bouvet, walk. Child. Garcelle almost took a tumble. I felt all of that because I could see myself doing that. Child, when that ankle go to the left or to the right, if you don't got them core muscles to hold you up, Garcelle, I said, oh my God. I watched her back like 3 times. I was like, because I'm like, where was it that she felt? So I don't think she realized that. I think she thought from the front door to like even the outside went straight across, but I think it went down. So I'm so glad our sis did not take a tumble, honey. So they're all sitting down. Garcelle says, Sutton, what are you drinking, honey? And Sutton says, the watermelon something. And Garcelle says, is there alcohol in it? Sutton says, yes, not a ton. Dorit said, did you ask Sutton what she's drinking? Garcelle said, yes. She said, and you asked if there was alcohol in it? That could be considered rude. Garcelle was trying to be funny. The joke did not land at all. Child, that Southern Belle, get ready to be full of Southern comfort, did not like that at all. She says, oh, Dorit, shut up. You're such a bee, right? Dorit says, excuse me. Sutton says, don't say, is there alcohol in it? Don't start. That's not nice. Sutton was already in a mood, and because she came in that mood, she couldn't shake herself from whatever mood she was already in. She was already feeling awkward. So no matter what, I think it was just going to be awkward. In her confessional, Sutton says that Dorit has not apologized for perpetuating the rumor or myth that she has some sort of drinking problem. So then Dorit says to her, do me a favor, don't call me a bee in my own home. And even Garcelle was kind of nodding her head like, yes, she never said anything. But if you go back and watch, she was like almost nodding in agreement. Sutton said, then don't start. It's not nice. And I do have to say this, regardless. I know kids learn about the I word, right? What is it called? The I something where I feel this way, not you made me feel, because that's accusatory, but you say the I feel this when you do this, or I feel this. It annoys me though. I have to say every time somebody does something, sometimes it is rude to Sutton. Like when people say things, I definitely get that. And her saying, I don't like that, or that's mean. Every time something happens that Sutton doesn't like, or somebody says something that she doesn't like, it's always, that's not nice. That's not nice. When Bose said that she was weaponizing Dorit's situation, I didn't like that. That's not nice. Girl, you sat in your confessional and said words just fall out of your mouth sometimes and you can't control them. So it's okay for you, like Kyle said later, which Kyle does the same thing, but you have rules for everybody else. But then when it comes to you, you don't have to follow them. Sutton in that fragility works me. She really, really does. But anyway, so Sutton says, I'm going to go. And I said, bye, girl. Dorit said, I'm not looking to argue with you. I just said, don't call me a bee in my own home for F's sake. Sutton says, thank you for having me. She goes to leave. So to me, again, Sutton can't handle any type of conflict. If she doesn't agree with it, or if you're going back and forth with her, it's not nice. And everybody feels it. It's like nobody can move on. Everybody, like the group is going to feel it. I think about, and I'm going to continue to go back to it. I don't care what people say. Crystal's first season, when they were at that house, Crystal and Kyle were talking. Kyle was asking Crystal about her experience as an Asian woman. Sutton had come into the room and said, we're not going to talk about that because it made her uncomfortable because people thought she was racist before. You're not included in this conversation, but because the subject matter makes you uncomfortable, we're going to shut it down when you can just leave. To me, that told me exactly what kind of person Sutton is. That was for me. Anyway, so she said she's going to leave, and which is interesting because she did call Kyle out for leaving Bose's house, but we'll get more into that later. So Garcelle did let Dorit know, like, she is a little bit sensitive after the coffee vodka thing. So because I think Dorit made this statement last year. Yeah, it was last season. Kyle mentioned drinking. Kyle had mentioned Sutton's drinking first. Then Dorit mentioned it later, like she probably pours vodka in her coffee cup. Maybe Kyle apologized for that. I think she did, but maybe either Dorit didn't, or maybe Sutton doesn't feel like that Dorit was sincere. So they've never quite gotten past that. So Dorit says, well, I'm feeling a little sensitive myself. So Dorit and Dorit is upset because Kyle and Garcelle go after Sutton so they wouldn't leave. So that she wouldn't leave. Garcelle and Kyle try to talk Sutton into staying, but Sutton is really upset. In her confessional, Garcelle says Sutton is really upset. I've never heard her talk like this. And she feels like Sutton is probably feeling, I didn't want to be here. Me and this girl ain't really in that good of a place, but I'm going to take the high road and come. And now you're going to joke about me basically having to have alcohol in my cup when you've already made the joke on national TV that I put vodka in my coffee cup. Now, I'm not saying she don't, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying the Southern Belle is always full of Southern comfort to me, but I can get how that could be a sore spot as well. Now, I did wonder, is it a sore spot because there's a little bit of truth to it? I don't know. Either way, she can feel, how she feels. So Garcelle says, listen, it wasn't a great joke. She's not great at jokes. She's not good at jokes. Sutton says she don't feel like it is a joke. Child Bose arrives in her blue and says, excuse me, bitches. And Garcelle says, we're not going to say that today because that word, that just started a bunch of ish. So Bose said, did you start? Garcelle said, not me. So Bose hugs Kyle. And then she was like, I'm joking. I was just joking. Like, child, what I walk into? What's going on? Like, wait a minute. You see Sutton over there rolling her eyes because people are actually having fun and not focused on her. Like I said, whenever Sutton's upset, which she has a right to feel her feelings, but the whole group, it consumes the group energy to me. So Bose goes in, gives Dorit a hug. She was like, oh, I was waiting on good energy. So in the meantime, we're still back with Kyle and Garcelle trying to convince Sutton to stay. Kyle's like, listen, can we just hit the reset button, please? Garcelle said it was just a really bad joke. Sutton's crying. And you know what? I'm not even going to get into it. So then she gets upset, rips her headband off and throws it to the ground like a kid. I said, In her confessional, Kyle says it's not lost on me that Sutton was berating me for leaving Bose's wellness day, but now she wants to walk out. Kyle said it's funny how Sutton makes a lot of rules for everybody else, but doesn't listen to any for herself. I agreed. They're also both the same, Kyle and Dorit. Kyle and Sutton in that way. So then Kyle tries to get Dorit to talk to Sutton to stay. And Dorit said, if she's going to stay, it ain't going to be because of me. That much is clear. You on your own with that. Erica arrives and Sutton is talking about leaving. So they all sit down. Erica's like, oh, what happened? Child Sutton gets to tearing up again. And Sutton's telling her what happened. Come on, is your car here? Did you call for the car, Sutton? So Kathy then arrives. So Bo says, is that Kathy? And why is everybody over there? Because you got Sutton, Garcelle, Kyle, and Erica by the entrance. And then you have Dorit and Bose outside where the party is actually being held, right? So Bose is like, why is everybody over there? I don't want to be left out. Now I got to go do it. So Bose goes over there and says, hey guys, can we enter the house? Come on into the house. She doesn't say stop talking, stop coddling her at that moment. She just says, hey, come on into the house. So, there's all surrounding Sutton like a child and she's getting all the attention. And Bose says to congregate here at the front while Dorit is hosting a party. And Garcelle says, stop being Dorit's spokesperson. Did y'all catch the grin on Sutton's face when Garcelle said that? Go back and look. There's a bit of a smirk. So Bose is like, I'm not being her spokesperson. I think it's just a little bit rude. Like, but if y'all want to coddle her, y'all can coddle her. Now, mind you, when Bose first walked over and she said, hey, can everybody just come into the house? She didn't mention Sutton. She didn't mention, can y'all stop coddling her? All she said was, can y'all come into the house? That's why I was with her at that point. Like, hey, can y'all just at least bring it inside? So we're at least all together because Sutton's getting all this attention over here. Anyway, Sutton leaves and the ladies come into the party. They ask, well, where is Sutton? And they say she left. Somebody says, why? And Garcelle says, because she didn't feel welcome. And so Dorit is like, what? So Garcelle said, look, you started it by insinuating there was vodka in her drink. Bose says, but does that equate to her calling Dorit a B? If somebody called me a B in my house, that's a fight. Kathy says, look, we're not mean girls. Maybe we're all just used to it. And they're like, yeah, we're used to it. Erica says, we sure are. Bose says, I think it's great that y'all are here, that y'all were there to support, but in the spirit of sisterhood, can we rally around her? Talking about Dorit. Garcelle says, where was your spirit of sisterhood when you came over there and called us rude? Bose said, that actually is being a sister. That's actually telling you to check yourself. I said, oh, Garcelle is like, I feel like you're always telling us what to do, basically, when it comes to Dorit, and you don't know the full story. Like, you always coming to tell us what we need to do. Bop, 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 bop. We know Dorit, and you don't know the full story. Bose says, let me put it in relative terms. I call things as I see them. And so here we are. In her confessional, Erica said, okay, Garcelle, who's been Sutton's spokesperson? I said, come on and clock, because that's what I said. Erica said, it's okay for Garcelle to defend Sutton, but Bose can't defend Dorit. Everybody needs to quit being so threatened by the Bose and Dorit friendship and let people get along. What I said was, they keep telling Bose she doesn't know the history. She doesn't know the history. I get that. I also feel like in a group, there are certain arguments. If it's the same argument that kind of has gone back a couple of seasons and you don't know the intricate details, then it is hard to speak on. But I can speak on events that are happening in front of my face. Now, one could say that because of certain past arguments, that's what's spurring current actions, which leads to current arguments, right? So I get that it could be a tricky situation, but I do think Bose is just like with the PK thing. Bose is assessing the situation because it was unfolding. It's not like it unfolded last season and they're bringing it in this season. So I can see kind of like both sides of it, but I can see that Bose is like, this is what I'm looking at right now. This is what I see because this is what's unfolding. And this is where I fall. But this issue between the two, from what I see, this is how I'm feeling about this person in the situation and this person in the situation. And I think that's fair because if she wasn't saying nothing, then people would be like, she's mute. She don't have nothing to say. Bose, you can never win with the audience, so just do you. Garcelle says to Bose, it seems like you're one-sided. And then Garcelle says, it seems like you're one-sided. Did you not say that she, meaning Kyle, hasn't been welcoming to you? Peep that again. As they're going back and forth, as Garcelle's saying, you're one-sided, meaning you're on the side of Dorit. Let's remember, Kyle and Dorit had an issue when Bose entered the group. So Garcelle says, it seems like you're one-sided. Did you not say that she, meaning Kyle, hasn't been welcoming to you? I said, oh, Garcelle, what you're trying to do is conflate the two. You're trying to say, or tie the two together. You're trying to say, look, Kyle and Dorit had an issue, and you came right in and you chose Dorit's side. But, because Bose said that Kyle hadn't been warm to her and said something to Kathy, Garcelle said the same exact thing. Garcelle literally said on Watch What Happens Live that Andy said who was the least welcoming. Kyle, and Garcelle said, Kyle. She hasn't bothered to get to know me. So Garcelle had the same issue that Bose had, but now you're trying to spin it to be like, Bose, do you have that issue with Kyle? Because Kyle and Dorit have an issue and you're on Dorit's side. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, nah, Garcelle, you had the exact same issue that Bose is speaking about, Kyle not being warm to her, not opening up to get to know her. You literally said that. You said Kyle was the least welcoming on your season. Let's not forget that. You said that on Watch What Happens Live. And again, and you said she was not trying to get to know you. So Bose says, yeah, I said it, but it's not like I said she was a cold-hearted beat. I just said we haven't connected. Kyle doesn't agree, and she says she's actually feels the complete opposite. She feels like her and Bose did connect. Bose says, look, let me be upfront. I asked Kathy because I care. Child, if I didn't care about getting to know you, I wouldn't have asked. I would have kept it moving. She said, I feel like I've had a deep conversation with everyone except you. So Bose is saying, for me, that makes it feel like a little distant, a little cold. In her confessional, Bose says the vibes aren't vibing with Kyle. She hasn't opened up to me about anything that's going on in her life. There's no warmth, so I don't really know what to do with that. There's nothing to do. I don't have anything to work with. Now, I did say, so what exactly do you want her to tell you? Because no one, now, Dorit did it, but it still wasn't deep, dark secrets. Like, when these housewives come in and say, I don't feel like you're open with me, what is it that you want me to share? Was Bose feeling a type of way because Bose brought up the text message? And then Erica turned around, and then Kyle turned around and read it to everybody but Dorit and Bose? Because then I could see her being like, you shared that with everybody else, not me, and I'm the one that brought it up. So I can see that. But other than that, I do wonder sometimes, like, what exactly do y'all want these women to be open about? Maybe she wanted to talk to her more about her divorce. I don't know. So Kyle says, I believe you say that you don't. Bose is like, I'm not led. Nobody leads me. Dorit is not leading me to think a certain way about you. Kyle says, well, you say that. You say you don't have preconceived ideas about me, but your actions say otherwise. So Bose says, again, I'm not led by anybody. Kyle says she feels like Bose has been 100% biased against her. And I said, I will say this, Kyle and Sutton, that same thing. When somebody's in opposition with them, it's like, or somebody doesn't agree with them or speaks their mind to them, it's like, oh, that's mean. Oh, you're against me. Or if they're in an argument with another person and people agree with with that other person, it's like, oh, you're in opposition against me. No, I just happen to agree with what the other person is saying. So I feel like Kyle and Sutton have that in common. So what was I going to say? Okay, so again, when someone's not to me on her side, Kyle, she believes that it's automatically you're against me. It's like, no, that's not, automatic. Kyle tells Bose, I feel like you're hard on me. Bose says, well, like, girl, how? In what way? We don't even talk. How am I hard on you, girl? We don't even talk. Can we just talk? Yeah, I love that song. So Bose is like, how can I be hard on you? Kyle said, when you told me to put my phone down and block PK. So we flash back to them at the Viper room, and Bose is like, how about we block PK, So Kyle says, I already feel like, okay, Judge Judy, and you've never even met PK. And then she started laughing. I said, oh, it's about to get spicy. What? Kyle is talking like it's about to get spicy. So Dorit says, why does she need to meet him? Kyle said, I'm talking to her about an issue. Dorit said, but it's about my life. I can't chime in. I said, oh, come on, let's go. Bose says, I'm not trying to push you out, Heisman you out, because I'm being led by Dorit. Did y'all see Erica eat that hot dog and do the Heisman move too? I was cracking up. It made me want a hot dog too. Kyle says, I've shared so much with you one-on-one and in the group. So Dorit is like, I don't even know what's going on with you right now. And Kyle's like, I've been married almost 28 years. I have 4 kids. Like, well, I'm going through the work. What do you mean? I'm going through a separation. What do you mean you don't know about me? So Kyle and Dorit kind of go back and forth. Kyle says, it's annoying that you have to back up every little thing that Bose says. Yes, yes, yes. Kyle says, you're all over her. It's actually gross now. Stop. So Dorit said, on the beach at Garcelle's house, you said we starting fresh. Are we or not? Because I just need to know where we are. Because like, is it up and it's stuck, or are we moving forward? So Kyle says, I want to start fresh and clean. That's it. That's what I want. Kyle says, I want to start from scratch, but it has to come from the both of us. Like, we both have to be willing for real to start from scratch. In her confessional, Kyle says it is important for her to move forward with Dorit. Yes, it's annoying sometimes. It's frustrating, but she definitely wants to be in a better place with her. They both agree that they want to work their way back towards each other. So then Kyle does scoot over and gives Dorit a hug, which I thought was nice. It seems genuine. I'm gonna take it for what they're showing me. It seems genuine. She says, I want you to know that I love you a lot. Kathy says, yes, you do. Bose says, don't interrupt them. Kathy said, am I going to get in trouble? So they laughed. Kyle and Dorit end up going inside. So they go upstairs to where, Dorit's like room area and what have you. And like there's stuff in boxes. There's stuff just like everywhere, not organized. And Kyle's in her confessional says she realizes, wow, like Dorit is actually really going through it because Dorit is meticulous. So for her to let her living space get like this, she definitely is really, really going through it. Kyle says, you can tell what's going on in your life by your home. I said, oh, okay, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Kyle shares how when Mauricio left, she decided to use a part of the closet. She said, I don't know why I didn't use all of it, but I just used some of it. And I felt for her in that moment because I felt like she felt like it's final. Like if I just use a part of it, there's a chance he's going to come back because it was only supposed to be for 6 months. But if I take everything out, it's like final. Like he doesn't live here anymore. So I can see how that will be hard. It was probably hard for her to even use a piece of the closet, So she said, so Dorit is asking her questions about her separation. And she said, we started out by saying we were going to separate for 6 months and then reevaluate. But then I noticed that he was buying the furniture and not staging it. So Dorit's like, well, how do you feel? Kyle said, that's what she's asked. asked herself every single day. When she said that, that made me wonder, is there a part of Kyle deep down? Because she was married before Mauricio to her oldest daughter's father. I think she was 19. They get a divorce. She was a mother early. And then she gets married again, has children, right? And I wonder if there is a part of her that does want this divorce, that wants to experience life. She's got money. She looks good, like in the best shape of her life. Maybe she loves in love with Morgan. I don't even know about that piece of it, but she wants a freedom that she didn't have, but it's scary to her. Mauricio represents stability and the known. If they get divorced, it's the unknown. But I do wonder if there's a part of her that does want the freedom. On Married to Medicine, there are people that have said that Toya envies Quad's life because she can travel and she don't have no kids and no husband and she can kind of just do whatever she wants. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can see what people are trying to do when they say that. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering with Kyle, is that almost like, y'all get what I'm saying? Is there a part of her that deep down and she just doesn't want to say it? Because they're Kyle and Mauricio. People know them as Kyle and Mauricio. The fans, oh my gosh, people were posting, I don't believe in love anymore because they were splitting up. That's also a heavy burden to well, it shouldn't be, but some people take that as a heavy burden to carry when people are looking at your relationship as the standard, right? But I do wonder if there's a part of her that wants to be free. I don't know. Um, she said she asked her when Dorit said, "How do you feel?" She said, "I ask myself that every day, but it feels like we're family." So Dorit is like, "Do you want to get back together?" She said she wants to take time too. Like, I want to take this time like he is, but I'm not doing anything with it. Dorit says, "I don't understand what you're supposed to get after the 6 months. Like, what happens after 6 months? You reconvene and say, another six, another two, we're back together." Kyle said, "I think that was just an easy way to say, like, I don't know." Even Kyle doesn't know. So Dorit is like, "Do you want a divorce?" Kyle says, "I'm not going to stay like this. So if we're not going to get back together, then we're going to get a divorce." Dorit says, "Are you going?" Oh, Kyle says, "Right." So Dorit throws in, like, "Do you think you'll get back together?" And Kyle says, "Right now, that's not going to happen." In her confessional, Kyle says she believes that her and Mo have been in denial about their situation that they're in. And they just kind of go about their lives and live their lives because they're still family and they always will be. But time is flying by. Anytime it comes up, he'll say it's way too soon to be thinking about divorce. Don't get ahead of ourselves. So she feels like she's in limbo. It's almost like, is Mauricio treating her like a winter coat? I don't need you in the summer and spring and even in the fall months because I'm out here with my little young tenderonis, my little brand new lightweight windbreaker, or my little sleeveless tank top that I can wear in the summer, my brand new stuff. But then when that's out of season, let me go back to my comfortable, let me grab my winter coat out of the closet. Like, I feel like, is there a part of him that's scared too, but he want, like, let me go out here and sow some oats that I should have sown before I got married. And then if I don't like it, he can go right back to Kyle. Kyle, him thinking that Kyle will be there. I don't know. Like, that could be one thing. We just don't know, we don't know. Again, we don't know how Kyle really feels about Morgan. Maybe she's still trying to figure that out. Maybe she's not, maybe they are just friends. It's just a lot going on and a lot to consider. So Kyle says that they should be off doing what PK and Mauricio are doing. Dorit says, "What do you mean? We have to live. We have to live." Dorit says, "But I haven't been able to catch my breath." And Kyle says, like, the same, because I guess things are happening. Um, so Dorit says, "I would not choose to be in this situation." And Kyle says, like, "Neither would I." Because again, they're both feel like they're in limbo. Dorit said PK has, in her confessional, she said PK has probably already lived with the thought of separation because he's been wanting it. He's been thinking about it. Whereas for her, it was just like, let's get separated and he's gone. So she had no chance to process it. Do y'all believe that? Do y'all believe that they're really getting a divorce? Do y'all think that what we're seeing is the real of it all? Or do y'all really think that Dorit is doing this for her story? I feel like it could be both. They are really getting a divorce and she's like This is going to make for good TV and help me keep my job. And I'm willing to put it out there for some money because I'm going to need it. And PK may be in agreement, like, yeah, we going to need some money. Oh no. So Dorit says, I'm here. It's all effing weird, Kyle. And then she says in her confessional, feels like old times, her and Kyle leaning on each other. So Dorit says to her, listen, if the man wants a divorce, I can't stop it. Talking about PK and Kyle said, what, he's said divorce? Dorit said he's mentioned it, but only like when he's mad, in a threatening way, not in a mature, we're in our rational minds and we're still talking about divorce, but only when he's threatening. So Kyle says, do you like your independence? Which I mentioned with Kyle earlier. Like, is there a part of her that actually does want the independence? So she asked Dorit, do you like your independence when you're not with him? And Dorit said, I haven't had it yet. PK is 50 steps ahead of me and I need to catch up. So then Kyle asked her, do you think he wants to get divorced? And she says, we're not getting back together no time soon. I can definitely tell you that. I just would like a minute to think about what I want. I don't know. What if he's out here acting like a single man and dating? Kyle says, I think that would be hard to do in our world because they're on TV. People recognize PK. So you're not going to be out here acting like a single man dating. Not in LA with people not knowing, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody knowing that, you may not be a movie star, but people know that you're on TV. Child, then it comes up on screen 1 week later, and all the rumors and the pictures Mauricio kissing that gal in the airport. Were they in Greece? At the airport, she had on a bathing suit with her bathing suit cover up, and they just lip to lip, just kissing. We see Erica FaceTime Kyle, and Erica was like, did you know this was coming out? Kyle was like, I don't, and I really don't know how I am. And I said, to find out that even if you know he's dating, to see that would still just kind of be like, ugh, especially when you haven't fully moved on. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good episode. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Bose is doing too much? Do y'all think Bose isn't really necessarily defending Dorit? Or is she just calling it as she sees it? I want to read y'all something. And somebody posted, and she replied in my comments, and I reposted. She said, I don't really feel like Bose has even been biased. I just think she's being reasonable and she's not swayed by past fights or grievances like all the other women are. I think every time she has defended Dorit has been on the right side of it. Also, Garcelle is insane to be calling Bose out about that when Sutton has had much more problematic behavior and G doesn't say a word. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that Garcelle has a right to be Sutton's mouthpiece because they've known each other a little longer? But then when Sutton is in the wrong, you'll see Garcelle kind of like shake her head but not say anything. And I mean, that's her friend, right? So you probably not going to call your friend out in front of, even if you're with a group of friends. But if that's your bestie out of the group, in real life, you might not call them out. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think PK and Dorit are real or no? Or do you think it's real, but they're willing to exploit their story or share their story for a price? What y'all think about Bose and Kyle and that whole thing, and about them calling Bose out for always defending Dorit? I do like how Bose and Garcelle were able to get into it and then just kind of like come to a resolution. Like nobody's storming out, leaving. This is just how we feel. And that was that. So I did like that. And again, Erica eating that hot dog was cracking me up. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. I will talk to y'all later. See you.